What if you could change reality by adding just one zero? Just one. No rewinds, no deletions, no second chances, just addition to any quantifiable number. And whatever you changed became real. Not metaphorically, not eventually, immediately. Think about that for a second, because at first, it sounds small, almost underwhelming. Just a zero? But the longer you think about it, the more something starts to feel off. Because numbers aren't just numbers, they're everywhere. They measure your time, they define your limits, they quietly decide outcomes long before you notice them. Time, distance, speed, probability, even your chances of succeeding, failing, surviving. Numbers aren't just tools, they are the hidden structure of reality itself. And if that's true, then what you've been given isn't a trick. It's access. Access to the system behind everything. Where do you even begin? So you start small, safe, controllable. You wake up, reach for your phone, 10% battery. You hesitate for a moment, because this is the first real test. No undo, no confirmation screen, just intention. You focus and add a zero. 10% becomes 100%. And just like that, it works. Just quiet, perfect success. Almost too easy. A small smile forms. Because this feels harmless, convenient even. But then something else happens. Your mind doesn't slow down, it accelerates. Because now, the question isn't if it works, it's what else can you change? Money crosses your mind. Of course it does. It's the most obvious use. You try it on your bank account. It makes you richer than ever before, but it is too predictable. And being predictable is boring. This power feels bigger than that. So you look for something more interesting, something less obvious, something deeper. Your sleep. You watched YouTube or played games all night. You were only able to sleep an hour. You add a zero, 10 hours, and suddenly, you feel different, optimized, clear, focused, almost unnatural. But then a thought interrupts that feeling. If your body experienced 10 hours, then where did those extra hours come from? Did time stretch to accommodate you? Did the world pause? Did you skip something? Because something had to give. You just don't see it yet. And that's what makes this dangerous. Not the power itself, but the parts you can't observe. So you test something external. A runner finishes a race in 10 seconds. You add a zero, 100 seconds. Nothing explodes, nothing breaks, but everything changes. You made them slower. And that's when it clicks. This ability doesn't understand intention. It doesn't care about better or worse. It follows math. And math is indifferent. So you think more carefully, more strategically. A doctor says someone has a 10% chance of survival. You pause, because this matters. Then you act. 100%. You just removed uncertainty. You just guaranteed an outcome. You just saved a life. Or did you? Because think about what that actually means. Did their condition improve? Or did reality adjust itself to match your number? Because those are not the same thing. One is healing. The other is rewriting probability. And if probability can be rewritten, then randomness disappears. Everything becomes predictable, fixed, certain. So you become more careful, more selective. You stop thinking in isolated numbers and start thinking in systems. Because every number exists inside something larger. And when you change one, you change everything connected to it. You try to help. You increase the number of doctors in a hospital. 10 becomes 100. But where did the extra 90 come from? Were they created or taken? Because if they were taken, then somewhere else just lost them. Your solution became someone else's problem. And now the weight of this ability changes. It's no longer exciting. It's precise, delicate, unforgiving. Because every action has consequences you may never be able to trace. And then, the real temptation appears. Your lifespan. 80 years. You add a zero. 800 years. Time expands. Possibility expands. At first, you feel like you can learn everything, do everything, become anything. But then time changes. Not around you, but for you. You watch people age. You watch them disappear. You experience centuries while they experience decades. And slowly, time stops feeling like a gift and starts feeling like distance. So you try to fix that too. You extend others' remaining time on Earth. But now humanity shifts. Population grows. Resources strain. Urgency fades. Because when time becomes abundant, it loses value. And when urgency disappears, so does purpose. Because meaning was never in having more time. It was in having limited and precious time. And you remove that. So now you sit there, in a world that still works, but feels different, predictable, extended, distorted. And you start to question something deeper. What if this power was never about control? What if it was a test? Because every time you used it, you assumed something, that bigger is better, that increasing something improves it. But that was never proven, because sometimes more of something good is worse. More time is emptier. More certainty is less human. And suddenly, the question changes. It's no longer, what should you change? It's, what should you leave alone? Because maybe the structure of reality was never broken. Maybe it was balanced, carefully, precisely. And the most dangerous thing you were given wasn't power. It was the ability to disrupt that balance. So now you hesitate, for the first time, because you realize something unsettling. The safest use of this power might be never using it at all.